Can Scrum or Agile projects have scope creep? When you think about the term scope creep, when we talk about scope, let's just take a second back. Scope is an area that you're interested in covering. Okay, now that could be for a week or months or several months, depending on the approach you're using to your projects or products. Scope creep comes from the predictive way of looking at work and looking at projects. Scope creep has negative connotations to it because what it suggests is we have done the planning up front, we understand what we need to do, and we just need to execute on it now. Anything that comes in after what we've planned is now creeping in, and we need to stop that. It can create a kind of bad feeling, and it is not something that's really encouraged. I don't think the term scope creep is supportive of things changing. So let's just take Scrum for an example. In Scrum, scope is not a taboo word. In fact, in the Scrum Guide, Scrum Master Service to the Product Owner, it talks about domain knowledge, scope, and understanding of a product area. Something to that note. In Scrum, we don't have scope creep. A Scrum team is working in a short time box, no more than a month. And we are not wearing a predictive lens, we are wearing an adaptive lens. It's not if things change, it's when. The idea is that we are trying to create something, get feedback, and use that feedback to make new decisions. And we don't have to wait till the end of the sprint to do that. Now, the reason that Scrum doesn't have scope creep, first of all, the scope is established in the sprint backlog, which is the work that the team can do. Instead of scope creep, we have a sprint goal. Now, if we need to make changes to the scope, i.e. the sprint backlog, we're not going to feel bad about it. That doesn't mean that it's just a free-for-all and we can keep adding as much scope as we want, as long as that we protect the sprint goal. What this provides is flexibility in trying to provide value. Whereas if we were thinking about things in scope creep, we may become more determined to make the plan or the documentation right versus what the customer or the proxy to the customer needs. I'll be taking more questions on LinkedIn. Feel free to ask away and I'll try and plan them. All right.